Hey everybody, it's Derek here. We're going to talk about the news for April 19th, 25th, 2021. Okay, so not exactly the biggest news, but kind of big news for me, I suppose, or the nullification of old news. PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita will continue operations. So this is Jim Ryan, our favorite personality, rowing back on their on Sony's plan to shutter the PS3 and PS Vita on store devices or on store shops. So you will still be able to purchase PS3 and PS Vita games going forward. PSP commerce functionality will retire as planned, so PSP is still RIP, which still isn't great, obviously, but you know, it's still shit. Anyway, you can still get PS3 and PS Vita games are still available. It's clear that we made the wrong decision here. We made the wrong decision, Jim. I kind of feel like it was entirely your decision. Anyway, we see now that many of you are incredibly passionate about being able to continue purchasing. I'm not passionate about purchasing things. I'm passionate about playing things, and purchasing is a unfortunate necessity. Playing games on PS3 and PS Vita for the foreseeable future. So the point to be read into this is PS3 and PS Vita stores will remain functional for now. Like, it's clear they're still planning on shutting them down at some point. They just, I guess, weren't expecting such a big stink, because who wants to play old games, Jim? You shithead. There's also some potential here that they wanted to leave up you being able to download games but not being able to purchase them, but publishers were planning on pulling licenses from the store because they weren't going to be making any money anymore, which would mean if they pulled a license, that pulls your license, because technically you bought a license to play the game and you didn't buy the game itself, thanks digital shit. Basically, you wouldn't be allowed to download it because the store doesn't have the license anymore. So I'm guessing there's some rollback here, either for financial reasons, and also community-based stuff. But look, it's back, or rather, not gone. So that's good. We still have some amount of preservation. Hopefully, this will push them to do some kind of back compatibility or some method of getting those games to newer consoles, whether they'll go down the streaming route, like turning PlayStation Now into the preservation thing, or if they will give you the ability to play them on PS4, PS5. Kind of doubt it for PS4, but maybe for PS5. I guess we'll see. Alright, moving on. So some updates. Song of Horror is coming to consoles in May. So Song of Horror is a episodic horror game that was pretty much, well, it was on PC. It's really interesting, the small amount of it that I have seen played. I haven't played it myself, but it is coming to consoles in May. It has a kind of old Resident Evil, Silent Hill survival horror kind of thing, with some somewhat Lovecraft Eldritch horror shit happening. It's got a supposedly dynamic AI behind these monsters that attack you and that kind of thing. So not unlike Alien Isolation type deal. All of the episodes will be coming as in one package. The game has multiple protagonists, and the game can continue if some of them die, so you can just keep playing, but if all of them die, I believe you have to restart. So there's that, I guess. Or rather, I think you have to restart from the last chapter or something like that. Anyway, some more old school survival horror, and you saw there in their accolades, it's pretty critically well received, so that should be an interesting look. Look for that on May 28th, so soon enough. I think they made it, well, I guess they didn't want to wait until Halloween. That would have taken quite some time. The Great Ace Attorney games head west for the first time in July as the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So these were previously Japan only, the Great Ace Attorney, because they had a lot of Sherlock Holmes going on. And at the time, Sherlock Holmes was not in the public domain. He is now, which is why this can happen. They have a character other than Phoenix Wright. Or not Phoenix Wright, this must be somebody else. Anyway, it's the same kind of idea as the Phoenix Wright games. They have Herlock Sholmes instead of Sherlock Holmes. There it is. Which is obviously funny. If you go back to some of the old Castlevania games, some of the old Punch-Out games, they have like anagrams of famous names, and they've just swapped them around, like badly, like Herlock Sholmes. It's kind of funny. It's sort of an old Japanese developer trick, I guess. But since there's no longer an IP conflict or a copyright conflict, these games can actually come to the West. So if you ever wanted to get your hands on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, you can now. Xbox Live Gold is no longer required to play free-to-play multiplayer games. So free-to-play games are actually now free-to-play, for real this time. This is basically just removing the requirement to have an Xbox Live Gold subscription to play free-to-play multiplayer games. There is a big list of them here. I will not play any of them. I might have actually played some of these. Hold on. No, not so far. I have played DC Universe Online. That's true. I played it on the PS3. That was a long time ago. Outriders, sure, the demo, not the full game. Resident Evil Revelations 2, I have played. I never bothered playing the online side of stuff. I always did couch co-op. But anyway, Too Human, really? Anyway, there's a big list of them. If you play those kind of games on your Xbox, you don't technically need the gold subscription anymore to do it. Or rather, as part of the next update, whenever that is. It's still in April sometimes, so it must be soon enough. Or potentially has already happened. I don't own an Xbox, I don't know. Additional to this, if you are looking for a refund on your Xbox Live Gold subscription, because the reason you did it was so you could play Fortnite, and now you don't need it anymore because it's free, there's a facility for doing that as well. Tales of Arise launches in September, so there was some news earlier. Tales of Arise showing up again, just reminding people that it existed. This is kind of news that it has been somewhat delayed, but it's coming out in September now, and additional news that it's coming to current or new gen. I don't know how we're supposed to talk about series and PlayStation 5, but Tales of Arise will be on those consoles as well, which is something that the Tales games have been doing for a while. They've kind of been straddling PS3, PS4 for a good while, and then this looks like it'll be straddling PS4, PS5 for a good while. With their new engine, the Tales games have been running off the same engine for quite some time, so it's not surprising that there was a big break between Tales games before this came out. Looks really nice. So I'm actually really looking forward to playing this. Knights of the Old Republic remake is in development at Aspyr Media, so this is kind of a report slash rumor slash pretty much it's a thing, but they haven't come out and officially said it. So this is a report from Bloomberg and then corroborated by Eurogamer, that Knights of the Old Republic remake is being made by Aspyr Media. Aspyr Media have been behind a lot of the latest Star Wars games ports, so Jedi Knight 2, Republic Commando, they only came out a few weeks ago, maybe last week, maybe the week before, forget. Pod Racer. And they also ported KotOR, Knights of the Old Republic, to iOS, and then I guess Android. Did somebody else do the Android version? I don't know. And Jade Empire. How the fuck does Jade Empire play on a phone? I could see KotOR working because it's like dice rolly, but Jade Empire is an action. I don't know. I don't want to know, to be perfectly honest. Aspyr have also been involved in the Halo Combat Evolved anniversary and The Witcher 3's upcoming PS5 and Xbox Series port. So, is there much to be said about that? Yeah, I don't know, for some reason my highlights didn't take on this game, on this page. Basically, Aspyr, particularly, they're known for ports, remasters, that kind of thing. This will be their first remake, or more of a remake as it's put here. Bluepoint Games were also previously known for remasters and ports before they made the Shadow of the Colossus remake, which is really good, and then they made the Demon's Souls remake, which is also really good. Hopefully we'll see the same from them. This is what KotOR looks like. Even, like, I'd say that's probably the remaster because it's a lot blurrier than that, so hopefully we'll get something really nice. Knights of the Old Republic is a really good RPG. It's no longer canon, unfortunately, since Disney bought Star Wars and just wiped out all of that stuff. There have been mentions of the different, some story stuff from Knights of the Old Republic, like the Mandalorian Wars, the Jedi Civil War, that kind of thing. They have been sort of mentioned at some points, but they haven't gone into great detail because I guess they want to do that themselves. This is a small reminder that as part of the Sony's Play at Home thing, Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition, so including the DLC, is free if you own a PS4 or PS5. You can just go get it. Even if you don't own a PS4 and PS5, if you have a PSN account, you can just go to the shop and add it to your library. And when you have a PS4 or PS5, you can then play it. This is the Play at Home stuff. I think it's still available. I think the Play at Home stuff is still available. I'm not sure. They may be gone at this point. If you're watching this video, they may be gone already. But Horizon Zero Dawn is there for about a month, so April 19th to May 15th or so. You know, give it a shot if you haven't already, or even if you have, it's free. Might as well just add it to your library. Okay, new releases for this week. So a big one for me that I'm really interested in is the Nier remake, or version upgrade, as Yoko Taro puts it. This is a remake, kind of remaster, kind of update to the original Nier, which was not particularly well received, critically at least, when it originally released, but has since had a pretty big cult following, and the performance of Nier Automata has made them go back to maybe, you know, give it another shot and see, maybe it'll do better this time. I imagine it will. I'm really looking forward to play it and being crying in my room playing the game again. Nostalgia for being extremely upset at what happens in these games. Okay. Also, Judgment is getting its new gen, current gen remaster, I guess. It's just a new port, previously on PS4 and Xbox One. It's got like upgraded visuals, upgraded lighting, 60 frames per second, that kind of thing. Judgment is a really good game. It's a good spin-off from Yakuza. It plays obviously very similar to Yakuza, but it's based around this detective Yagami, disgraced lawyer and now detective in Kamurocho, who has to deal with these mysterious murders that are happening around the place. I've only just finished it, literally finished it yesterday, so I won't exactly be jumping on the update, considering it's not a free update if you already own it. It's full price, not full price, sorry, it's €40, and then I guess the same number in other currencies. We did have a bit of story about that. It's really good if you haven't played it and, you know, you're in the mood for some Yakuza shenanigans, but don't want to jump into a 7-game series, you know, you could start there instead. Okay, so Time for our favorite segment, industry bullshit. There was a lot of industry bullshit this week, so I'm trying to just pare it down to stuff I'm arsed talking about. There's some stuff about the GameStop CEO getting a bunch of money for quitting his job. He got like nearly 200 million. That's not necessarily a video game industry thing, which is why I left it out. But that mostly had to do with the meme GameStop stock and him being paid in stock. That's why his severance was so ridiculous. There's some stuff about the Riot CEO and co-founder saying some bullshit race theory stuff on Twitter. Again, it is industry shit, but I don't really want to talk about that stuff. I'd rather talk about the game stuff. But anyway, it's there. I'm aware of the stories. I just don't want to talk about them. Anyway, this is kind of fairly recent news. Humble Bundle moves to limit charitable donations to 15% starting in May. So if you're not familiar, Humble Bundle is this kind of bundle of games that the site Humble Bundle sells that you can donate your entire purchase to charity. So you have a number of sliders at the bottom of the donation screen, or the payment screen if you prefer, and you can decide how much of your money goes to charity, how much of it goes to the actual game developer / publisher, more it's usually just the publisher, or how much of it goes to Humble Bundle itself. And this would typically be used for people to decide how much of their money would go, whatever. You had pretty much free reign over how big the slider was. You could throw it all into charity, could throw it all to the publisher, could throw it all to Humble Bundle, or divvy it out in whatever percentage you wanted. A lot of people use this to, one, just afford games. Games are very expensive, and if you want to get them, typically you're waiting for sales. Humble Bundles were always considered a really good sale, because you normally get some really good games for really good prices, and it was going to charity, so like, why not? Some people would use them as spite purchases, so you could buy a game that you really want but you hate the publisher, so you could just put all that money into charity and they get nothing. I mean, it's always there. It's something you could do. How much the publisher gets, no matter what, I imagine there's probably a deal behind the scenes where they, like, there's a minimum they get on these purchases, but whatever. Anyway, that's all going away. Recently, Humble Bundle was purchased by IGN, or their parent company. Now, they were purchased a good while ago, and you might have noticed that Humble Bundle did pivot to, rather than having these one-off Humble Bundle packages, you said they would get like permanent bundles you could buy. They were just on the site all the time. They had like a subscription service. They started publishing their own games, that kind of thing. Obviously a way for them to generate income, so this is like their latest thing. So they're removing the sliders. They are capping the amount that you can donate to charity. The cap is at 15% now, so you can't 100% to the charity anymore. The sliders are being replaced with preset options, and these preset options will send a significant cut of the proceeds to Humble Bundle and publishers. So basically, if you wanted to donate it to charity, you can't really. The most you'll ever get is 15%. The presets will ensure that the publishers and Humble Bundle get a big chunk of the money, which isn't great. A lot of people have pointed out how bad a look it is that a store dedicated to charity, and which is literally called Humble, is now planning to greatly reduce charitable donations and take a cut from all future purchases. Now, it's shitty that they've made this change. But on the other hand, a 15% donation to charity, while drastically less than what it used to be, how many other purchasing sites or purchasing stores, like the PSN donates nothing to charity, Steam, they donate nothing to charity, etc. So it's still kind of the only place that does it. It's just drastically been reduced, and that is shitty on itself. But at the same time, there is nothing stopping you from donating to charity yourself. So yeah, it sucks, and it's clear why they've done it. They clearly want to turn Humble Bundle into something that can make them more money. They should probably change the name, because they're not exactly humble anymore, but there you go. Destiny 2's new transmog system sounds like a grind in the ass, so this is some bullshit, but I can't exactly say I'm surprised. So this article kind of highlights the step process that people have to go through to get these new things. So it's a transmog system. So if you're not familiar, transmog or transmography Basically, it just changes the appearance of the armor that you're wearing rather than changing any of its stats. So, if you may be familiar with the RPG thing of wearing the armor or the equipment that gives you the best stats, but it looks horrible because it'll be a horrible jumble of different themes and aesthetics and styles and colors. So you'll look like some horrible rainbow fashion victim that someone just threw a bunch of random paint on at you. So the transmog basically says, I want to keep all the equipment that gives me all my good stats, but I want to make it look cohesive. So that's all transmog is. Most of the kind of armor or PC games have this system, and it's usually very straightforward. It's like pay a set currency and you can just change it to any equipment you've already unlocked. But not Destiny, of course not. Destiny has to do some fucking dumb shit. Anyway, alright, so defeating enemies gives you a currency. You can use that currency to purchase bounties. And when you complete those bounties, you get an upgraded version of that currency. Then you can use that upgraded currency to create another upgraded currency. And you can then use that to purchase a single armor ornament or a transmog. That's it. There's so much fucking shit you have to go through to do it. If you pick the wrong bounty and decide you want to change it to a different bounty, you will not be refunded all of the currency you used to do it. You'll only get a portion of it back. You can only change legendary gear, so you can't change rares or uncommons, stuff like that. You can't change exotics. Now, I understand why you can't change exotics, because they want players to be able to look at another player and go, okay, he has that equipment in PvP, so you know what to expect before you get your head blown off by a sniper from 2 miles away, but whatever. There's also a massive limit on how much of that currency you can earn per week, because of course this is a pay-to-win game, so you can only get 10 of these transmog slots a week, 20 if they're doing a special event thing. And someone did Paul Tassi from Forbes did the math and said it would take you 33 years of seasons to get enough synthweave to modify all the armor in the game. 33 years! The game, there's no way it's gonna last that long. But hey, don't worry, if you don't have 33 years to spend on this, you can just pay for it. So the in-game shop will allow you to buy synthweave and bundles and whatever for actual money, but of course there's an intermediate currency called silver, so they can't say it's fucking gambling or anything like that. So to summarize, instead of just letting you modify your outfits as you please, which is all players want and just what similar games like this just allow you to do it, they'll pay you whatever the shitty currency of the game is, gold or coin or whatever it is. Bungie instead added 3 new currencies, a new type of bounty, seasonal caps, and microtransactions. Video games as a service, while it's not a bad thing on its face, it's just the way it is used to just generate money it just turns video games into jobs. It's horrible. Alright, Path of Exile lets streamers bypass long server wait times. So Path of Exile had a new expansion, Ultimatum, came out last weekend, I think. Servers were having problems, so people were having long wait times, long login queues. It was about 2 hours before you could actually log in. However, if you were a streamer who was paid to broadcast the game, they let you right in. Anyway, fans stuck waiting quickly found out about this and were pissed, which led to lead developer dropping this wall of text in their subreddit. So I won't read the whole thing. You can read it yourself if you're interested in Path of Exile or just love the industry bullshit. I've read it all myself. So basically they were saying, we had done paid promotion for these streamers to play the Path of Exile expansion, but the streamers themselves were coming up against the same login queue issue that they wouldn't be able to play for 2 hours. They had been paid to play for exactly 2 hours. So obviously they were literally setting a big pile of money on fire. Not literally. This is the closest you could get to literally setting a big pile. Figuratively setting a big pile of money on fire. So in order to sort of get something out of their investment, get something out of their paid promotion, they just let those streamers through. They did quickly mention that the streamers themselves didn't ask to be let in. They didn't ask to jump the queue. This is something the developers themselves did. So don't blame the streamer. Don't hate the player, hate the developer, I guess. So they let them in, thinking that this would give players who were waiting for a long time something to watch to, keep them entertained, I guess. But obviously that didn't happen, because it's just all you did was piss your paying players off. So these are people who paid you money to play the game. They're not allowed to play it, or being prevented from playing it because of server issues or whatever. But the people that you are paying to play your game, you let them in, no bother. It's not a good look for you guys. They're also pointing out that the Path of Exile League starts... The Path of Exile League starts are a fair playing field for everyone. Clearly they're not, because you let these streamers in. We need to actually make sure that is the reality. Well, it isn't. There's a little bit of the... I was kind of hit by the similarity this has to the FIFA cards thing, where they were just giving them away to influencers and streamers, level playing field and all that jazz. It's very similar. It's not the same thing, but it's similar. But they're basically saying this won't happen again. We'll plan our marketing shit out better, yada yada yada. Maybe we'll add more servers for our expansion instead of just hoping it's fine. We're very unhappy with it too. You're very unhappy with the decision you made yourself, and nobody asked you to do it. It is interesting to point out that the word apologize. Apologize. Did I even spell it right? I spelled it right. The word apologize does not appear on this thing. Does the word sorry appear? The word sorry does not appear. Anyway, Days Gone lead says, don't complain if there's no sequel if you didn't buy it full price. This means fuck you in Ireland, by the way. Anyway, John Garvin also says his departure from Ben Studio was based on personality, not performance. We'll get to that in a minute. So, this is John Garvin, who appeared on David Jaffe's YouTube podcast thing. We won't even talk about David Jaffe. I don't have enough time. But basically, he's saying this was based on news that Days Gone 2 is not getting a sequel. If you love a game, buy it at fucking full price. I can't tell you how many times I've seen gamers say, yeah, I got that on sale. I got it through PS Plus, whatever. Fuck you, dude. One, games are crazy expensive as it is, so not everyone's going to be able to buy the game at full price. Two, even if they did buy it at full price, not everyone has the time to fucking play all the games that come out when they come out. That's not something everyone can do. I can do it. And to be honest, I can't do it because I don't really have the money for it, but I do it anyway. Let's not talk about that. Like, supporting the game at launch. One, he's just shat on all the people who did buy the game at full price, which includes me. He did buy the game at full price at launch. He just said, fuck you guys, there weren't enough of you. That one, shit on your fans that you already have. Smart. Then shit on the fans you got later on. Thanks. Good job on that one. People who did wait for a sale or picked it up during a sale or heard about it from their friends, which is what you want from people who do get into it at launch. They filter it down to their friends to, if they happen to be influencers, they influence other people, that kind of thing. They send it down later on. You go, oh yeah, that game, he was talking about it, I'll check it out. Oh yeah, I like it. Hey, when's the sequel happening? It's not. You know, games can get cult followings if they don't do well critically. Sometimes they come back later. Just Nier Replicant is getting a remake. The game was absolutely shit on when it came out. But now it's getting the full-on remake treatment. Games can just fail to connect with people. Like the marketing just doesn't do a good enough job, or it just comes across as another zombie game, which is what it looked to a lot of people. And to be honest, that is what it is. Days Gone is okay. Like, it's not incredible. There are some really good parts to it, like fighting the... I think I've said this before, but fighting the hordes of freakers, zombies, is really good. Because they behave like this just mass, like this organic mass that just like waves of all over enemies. Not like horde mode kind of thing, but like is kind of horde mode, but not the gaming sense of horde mode. It's just so many enemies that you have to deal with. They just keep coming at you. You just have to keep moving. It's really good. The motorbike doesn't feel great at the beginning, but by the time you get to the end, you have a decent few upgrades in it. It feels really good to drive around in. I'd like to see more of that. I wouldn't necessarily like to see a Days Gone 2, but I would like to see those systems used again in other games. But this is not how you get support for Days Gone 2, by shitting on the people who are already fans of it. Like, that's not how you do it. Anyway, moving on to the part for why he left Ben's studio. Because it sure sounds like he was fired. Anyway, Gavin confirms that his departure from Ben's studio was based on his personality. Yeah, we'll get there. I worked 6 years of crunch, and here's the thing, I love working crunch. It's okay. Look, it's okay if you do love working crunch. It's unhealthy. You shouldn't do it. But fine, that's you. If you are in charge of people, if you are a manager, a lead developer, principal developer, senior developer, anything where you have people under you who are looking to you for guidance as a role model, whatever, you can't be doing this because it makes them think they have to do it. Now, if you want to do it on your own, that's fine. But if they feel that they have to be pressured into doing crunch along with you, which he already says, it's not a big deal, it's not good for me, the last 2 years have been a blessing. He knows crunch is bad, but he still did it, and he's like head of this development company. Obviously the other developers are going to see the boss putting in all these hours. They're going to feel like they have to do it too. It's going to happen. He talks about the arguments that he would have, temper tantrums it sounds like he would have, and he would just say, just give me a package so I can get the fuck out of here. Does that sound like someone who wants to be there? It sounds like you should have left yourself of your own volition. When it was just Chris and I in a very small studio, that kind of heatedness was fine. No, it wasn't. That kind of heatedness is unprofessional. It has no business being anywhere in these kind of things. When you get to 100-person studio, it's not okay. I'm not a great people person. You probably shouldn't have been in charge of the department then, no? You probably should have dropped down to a senior development position or something like that. I was put through training a couple of times, like, hey, here's how you go out to lunch with people more and be a better director, and I just sucked at that. So, because you were a disruptive personality, that personality, at least according to the company, was no longer the right fit. Definitely, he says, this is not a personality thing. This is unprofessional. This is a performance thing. You were not a good director. That's what this says. This has nothing to do with his personality. This has everything to do with his business ethic, and he's clearly in a position he shouldn't have been in. That's it. That's all that is. Anyway, moving on. We'll try to palate cleanse, I suppose. Okay, so dumb shit or dumb stuff. Dumb shit, dumb stuff, whatever. Anyway, handy sticker lets you meme Devil May Cry's Dante into any game. So Dante. I don't know why I said Dante. Anyway. So, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series, so you may or may not be familiar. So this is coming from Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne's remaster. When it was originally released, do they have the image? They do not have the image. So when it was originally released, there's a crossover where Dante shows up. I think he was DLC, or he might have been in the main game. But you collect... I'll just play this. You collect a bunch of demons in Shin Megami Tensei. You add them to your team and that kind of thing. So Dante was a character who could be part of your team. Fine. Like, it's impressive in that it was a pretty ambitious crossover, because Dante is Capcom and Shin Megami Tensei is Atlas, so that would have been pretty interesting. It's a boss fight, and if you beat him, he can join your team. Cool. They had a little sticker on the box art that said featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series, that for some reason was just picked up as a huge meme. It's also the Dante from DMC2, who is not really Dante. He's not really Dante, or he is extremely PTSD'd Dante, if you prefer. Anyway, they now have a high-res image of this sticker that you can put it on a bunch of stuff. So I just think it's funny from an archival standpoint that it's here, you can use it. I'm sure it's going to show up in other memes around the place. You might have seen a similar thing where, like, one of the Donkey Kong Country games had including Funky mode, where Funky Kong was playable, and it had a little sticker, and that showed up in a bunch of memes as well. It's the same kind of thing. You can just do a know your meme for featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series, and you'll see a bunch of it. I think it's funny that the marketing people are leaning into the meme, even if it is a very old meme, just resurrecting it and giving us a full high res asset for it. That's really good. I like it. Even as a pacifist, you will still kill over 700 people in Grand Theft Auto 5. So, Sex Positive Gamer sat down with Grand Theft Auto and played it as peacefully as they possibly could, and still found out that you would end up killing 726 people, which is insane. Anyway, most of them are part of missions where the objective is to kill a bunch of people, certain targets, before the mission counts as being completed. They never ran over any pedestrians or police chases or any of those kind of things. So it's 172 kills for Michael, 295 for Franklin, and 258 for Trevor, which is kind of funny in that Franklin kills more people than Trevor. Trevor is, as it said here, he's a homicidal maniac. You would have expected that canonically, because this would be canonically, I guess, that Franklin killed more people than Trevor. I just think that's funny. Okay, so the last thing, Genius makes horrible Goose Game honks 10,000 times worse. So this is a tick from Trevstifer, who he basically starts off just showing the general honk mechanic for Untitled Goose Game, but then decides to remap the honk key to his mouse wheel. It just makes it so much worse. So I'm just gonna actually turn on the audio for this, because it's fucking ridiculous. So desktop audio on. Oh, okay, sorry. I've seen this now. It's fucking stupid. So yeah, he goes through into the key maps and finds honk. Changes it to his mouse wheel. Unlock the mouse wheel. Oh no. This is so fucking stupid. I'm gonna die. That's so fucking funny. Okay, anyway, that was the news for April 19th to April 25th, 2021. Good U-turn on the PlayStation Store. I'm happy with that. I'm not happy that the PSP is still going away. The PSP digital store, I believe you can still get most of those games on the PS Vita store anyway, so that's fine. It does work out fine, I think. I don't think there are too many games that are on PSP that aren't on the Vita store. And none of them leap out to me, at least. I'm sure there are, but I just can't think of any. It's mostly the PSP stuff. Is mostly the issue I have with it is PSP games that are only on the UMD. They're only on the disc. You can't actually get them on the store. And the only one that annoys me is Crisis Core because it's Final Fantasy VII, and I would really like to play it again. My PSP, I traded in my PSP for a PSP Go because I went all in on the digital stuff. I was like, yeah, this is the future. Absolutely bought into the marketing like a fucking idiot. And I was thinking Square Enix surely will put Crisis Core on the store, right? They never did. They still haven't. I imagine they never will at this point. So that fucking sucks. But I've had to live with that for a very long time now, and I am still not over it. Anyway, some updates, some new games coming out. What else was in the update story? I've already forgotten. So like new Phoenix Wright, sort of. Song of Horror looks interesting. I didn't think that would actually come to console, but it looks like it is. Xbox Live dropping their subscription for free-to-play games is like, obviously that's a no-brainer. I'm surprised it hasn't happened before that. Wondering if PlayStation will follow suit, and or maybe they already have. I don't know, because I don't play any of those games, so I have no idea. Tales of Arise, new trailer, PS5 version. Grant, I was going to get the game anyway, so that's happy. That is happy. Yeah. Knights of the Old Republic remake, cool. I can't really say much until I see something from it, but yeah, that's a game that could definitely do with a remake. New releases, Nier Replicant, yep, I'll be on that as soon as I prepare myself mentally to play it. And Judgment, I literally finished it yesterday, so I probably won't be jumping into that anytime soon. Industry bullshit, Humble Bundle stuff from charity standpoint is shit, but there's no but really. They're still like the best in terms of buying games and also donating to charity, even if they are now substantially worse than they were. They're still kind of the best at it, I think. Destiny's transmog is just Destiny. It's just pure Destiny. I'm glad I'm not playing that game anymore. The Path of Exile stuff is just bad PR optics. That's all. They had spent all that money and they were worried about losing it all and not getting anything out of it. Clearly it was a business focused thing in that they wanted to get something back for their investment. And it's a combination of server problems and that kind of, that kind of sunk cost stuff that just messes with your head. They probably should have just let it go. They wouldn't have had to deal with this PR thing. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. There's a reason I'm not in business. Anyway, and the Days Gone guy is just fucking shouldn't be in charge of making games. Make his own games. Go indie. Then you can do all the crunch and throw all the tantrums you want. Dante sticker, hilarious. The GTA killing multiple hundreds of people is also pretty funny, and obviously I'm still not really recovered from that fucking 10,000 hogs thing. Anyway, coming up on the channel, so last week I put up some videos for Outriders and for something Persona 5 Scramble. Persona 5 is a lot of fun. Outriders feels a lot like Destiny. There's a reason I'm not playing Destiny anymore, so we'll see how that goes. Once all the single player stuff is done, am I arsed sticking around for the multiplayer? Spoilers? No. This week, I still haven't gotten around to Final Fantasy 14, but it is my intention to play it, and also I haven't played enough of Persona 5 Scramble for my February video yet, but that is my intention to do that, so hopefully the February video will be the week after, so it'll probably end up being in May. It's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be done by April. It's probably not going to happen. then we'll see, I guess. Watch this space. I haven't planned out the next games yet, so I guess we'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.